Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I request Padmavati Mataji to lead the Kirtan.
Hare Krishna. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram Sitaram
Jaya Sitaram
Sitaram Sundara Vigraha Ganga Tulasi Shalagrama Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Lakshmana Bhadragirishwara Sitaram Bhagata Janapriya Sitaram
Sitaram Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman
Janaki Ramana Sitaram Jaya Jaya Raghava Sitaram 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 Jaya
Lakshmana Hanuman.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Padmavati Mataji. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrata Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishak Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sahadan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhiraye Ashtaprayeshu Patreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Namah Pankajanaಭaya Namah Pankajamalini Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Goratisena Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagadvitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah Namaho Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhutam Karoti Bhasalam Pangam Langayati Girim Yatvipatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Vinataranam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Ishwaram Om apavitro pavitro va sarvavastam gatopi va yasmare pundarikaksham svabhaya abhyantram suche Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri. Hare Krishna. I thank each and every one of you for kindly joining today's Mangalarati and today's Bhagavatam session. So, when we read Bhagavatam, we'll find that among the Bhagavatam is the most dearest of to the Vaishnavas. Without Bhagavatam, we cannot be called a Vaishnava. So, what does a group of Vaishnavas do? Bodayanti Parasparam. So they exchange the philosophy of Bhagavatam, they exchange this bhakti, they chant together. So this is what the Vaishnava community is all about. I would like to thank the entire Gachibowli team, especially the Lilananda, His Grace Lilananda Prabhu and Hanumataji for creating a wonderful platform where we can all discuss Bhagavatam. I would like specifically like to thank His Grace Subhara Prabhuji and His Grace Praveen Prabhuji, who are hosting the sessions regularly without any tiring efforts. They're doing the hard work behind all these things. So I would like, if there is any mistake in this session, please forgive me, like you forgive your maid servant. It is out of my false ego. The entire session is taken from Bhagavatam, especially the Ramayana, the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, and more specifically from the lecture of His Grace Amarendra Prabhuji. So the entire lecture was about 900 minutes duration. So this 900 minutes, I try to compress into 90 minutes, took some points here and there, and made it to 90 minutes. In this attempt, if I have missed any information, any bhakti, please forgive me for that. So, as we discussed, Bhagavatam is the most dearest to the Vaishnavas. So, we should get pleasure from the Bhagavatam. So, pleasure comes from Rama. Rameti Rama. So, Rama gives the pleasure. So, today we will see about Rama and his devotees. So, this session I would plan to do it during Ramanavami and Hanuman Jayanti, but unfortunately could not do it. So today I am planning to doing this. Today, fortunately, it happens to be the Navami as well. So the Lord plans everything, which is not within our hands. So I would request one Prabhuji and one Mataji to recite this. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam 9:10. Hare Krishna, one Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
You want me to recite the sloka and meaning, Prabhu?
So first we'll recite the sloka and then we'll recite the meaning.
Okay, Prabhuji. Good olden days. Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 10th chapter, 3rd sloka. Tasyanucharitam rajan rishibhi tattvadarshibhi shrutam hi varnitam bhuri tvaya sita pater muhuhu.
Hare Krishna, one Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Shall I recite?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Tasyanucharitam rajan rishibhistattvadarshibhi shrutam hi varnitam bhuri tvaya sita pater muhuha. Hare Krishna.
We'll read the translation, Prabhuji.
Shall I read?
Yes, Mataji.
O King Parikshit, The transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Padma Mataji. So in this session, Sukadeva Goswami is describing about Rama to Parikshit Maharaj. He is saying Parikshit Maharaj has heard about Rama again and again. This was the culture which we had earlier. That was a good olden days. Earlier, when the technology was not there, so people used to work in the morning, get up early in the morning, do their activities, come home in the evening, early in the evening before sunset, have the nice dinner. So entire family or entire village used to come together and hear about Lord Ramachandra. There used to be Harikathas. So a person used to come, describe the glories of Rama and his names. People used to glorify him because there was no such technology. There was no other distractions. So I remember my old days, my younger days. So about around 30 years back, you all know when the TV was not so into the homes. Only one channel was there. That is was Doordarshan with limited time. So in the evening, the DD channel was used to cut. There was no TV. So my grandmother used to explain about Rama stories. I used to go to my grandmother. She used to teach me the Rama stories among various other stories as well. So this was the culture which we had in the earlier days. But what happened now? This advancement in the technology. We see lots of technology, lots of YouTube, television has come up, so many channels has come up, but the glorification of Ram has gone because of this technology.
Recording in progress.
So the glorification of Ram has gone down. So we name our children by the names of Lord Ram, Krishna, Vishnu. So why we are giving? It is one of the samskara, namakarana samskara. So the divine name has the potency to invoke divinity, spirituality within ourselves. Just like we see in the case of Ajamil. So Ajamil called his son Narayana. That he was immediately delivered from the clutches of Yamadutas. So such is the potency of Lord Rama, potency of Lord Narayan. So that is the name invokes divinity within us. But unfortunately, today we call our children with nicknames. We don't call by their names. We put Ram, but we call some other name like Chiku, Piku, something else. But we should understand the purpose behind the Namakarna Samskara. The name has the divine potency of Lord Rama. Nam Akari Bahuda. Nija Sarva Shaktisha. Krishna has invested his entire energy, entire potency in all the names of all his names. But the divinity invokes the spirituality. So such is the olden days. The Parikshit Maharaj, even Parikshit Maharaj used to hear lots and lots of Lord Rama's names. That's why Sukadeva Goswami has dedicated only 2 chapters in entire Bhagavatam for Lord Ram. So he has described in immense details about Varaha, Narasimha, etc. everything. But he dedicated only 2 chapters because everyone used to hear Rama so much. But unfortunately, in those days, in our days, it is very difficult. So today, we face lot of setbacks, lots of problems, lots and lots of worries, fears, doubts, stress. We attend so many stress management classes. So we have so many problems. So why are these problems coming in our life? The problems in our life are due to lack of proper devotional service. When our devotional service comes down, the problems of the material world increases. Krishna says, this entire world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. So when one takes the shelter of the Lord Krishna, the entire miseries gets away. So we should understand, when there is a problem in our life, it means there is some lack in devotional service. When there is lack of Rama Kada, there is a lack of Krishna Kada. When we include Rama Kada and Krishna Kada in our life, entire miseries goes away. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tam papebhyo mokshami masucha. The one who takes the shelter of Lord Rama, Lord Krishna. How can we take shelter? I cannot see Krishna here. By taking the shelter of his Kada stories. Dharma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvada. So one who hears about his pastimes, his glories, after leaving this body, he will attain the highest eternal abode. So that is called Vaikunta. Vaikunta is place where there is no miseries. This place is Kunta. So when there is a problem, we should understand that we are lacking in Krishna Kada, in Rama Kada. So how do we do that? So who takes pleasure? So even in this material world, who are taking this pleasure? Satanama Stotra of Padma Purana, verse number 8 says, Ramante yogino anante satyanande chidatmani iti Rama padena so param brahmadi vidyate. The supreme absolute truth is called Rama. Rama means the pleasure giver. Because the transcendentalists take pleasure in the unlimited true pleasure of spiritual existence. The yogis. So the best of all the yogis is the Vishnu Bhaktas. So yogis take pleasure in the divine name of Lord Shiva. Because the supreme absolute truth is called Rama. So one who takes the names of Rama, one who hears about Rama Katha, they take the pleasure even in this material world. So what are the benefits of pastimes of Lord Rama? The Srimad Bhagavatam 2:8-5 says, Pravishta karna randrena swanam pavasaroruham dhunoti samalam Krishna salilasya yatashara. The sound incarnation of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of the self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of the material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. So, what happens? The sound incarnation. So, every sound has a effect. So, sometimes when we are earlier, when we used to hear about their material music, cinema songs, whenever we are happy, we can hear about other songs. When we are in distress, we hear some motivational songs, etc. Or we have Carnatic music. So these, as you see, when you hear those kinds of songs, we used to get some kind of behaviors. So even in the melody songs, Carnatic music, our mind cools down, especially Carnatic music. So every sound has its own effect on the person. So suppose if there is a loudspeaker outside, it gives so much sound, you will get headache. But when there is a soothing sound, you will get a nice peace of mind. Because every sound has an effect. So our duty here is to clear our consciousness. Our consciousness is covered with lots of lust. Cheto darpana marjana. So our mind is covered by so much of dust. How do we clear it? Parama Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. The divine names of Sri Krishna clears our mind. So we ourselves cannot clear our mind. It is impossible. is impossible. Our duty only is to allow Krishna to enter, allow Rama to enter. When Rama enters, when Krishna Rama enters, what happens? Duloti. He goes inside our heart. Our heart is entirely unclean. So here Amarendra Prabhu gives a beautiful example. Our body is like our house. Our house is presently clustered. We throw everything here, papers here and there, clothes here and there. Everything is untidy. We are trying to make it tidy. So when a friend comes, it's just a casual colleague or casual friend comes into our home. He says, "Oh, you are cleaning it. I will wait. You clean and I will enter." So when there is a formal, when a formal friend comes, he doesn't participate in the cleaning. But suppose our dearest friend, or dearest friend who is a childhood friend, comes to our home and sees we are cleaning our home. He also put his hands. I will help you in cleaning your home. That is the closest friend us. A formal friend doesn't help us in this situation. But Bhagavatam says Krishna is our dearest friend. Basically, our home inside is dirty. When Krishna enters, he takes charge. He clears entire heart. Without that, we cannot clear anything. That's what Krishna says. When we hear the past tense of Rama and Krishna, our consciousness, our internal environment gets cleansed. 9:11:23 says, Purusho Rama Charitam Shravanir Upadharayan Ramasya Parorajan Karma Bandare Vimuchate. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra pastime will ultimately be free from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of futility. This is the glory of Lord Rama. This is the glory of Lord Krishna. When we hear the character pastimes, our envy, we all have envy within us. How can we clear it? By hearing, by just giving our ears. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vishnu Smaranam. Parikshit Maharaj says. It starts with Shravanam. Whom we should hear? Hear about Ramachandra's pastimes, hear about Krishna's pastimes. Tasmad ekena manasa Bhagavan Sasvatam Satvadam Pati Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Deya Pujyascha Nityada. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. The Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the only protector of the devotees. So what is Bhagavatam saying? Tasmad ekena manasa, with one pointed attention. Vyavasayatmaka buddhi, ekaha kurunandana. Bahusaka hi anantasya. Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Vyavasayatmika buddhi, ekaha kurunandana. With one pointed attention. Nobody else. How did Gajendra glorify to whom? Among all the devatas, among all the people, he glorified Vishnu only with one pointed attention. Prahlad Maharaj, in the time of distress, whom he called? He called for Lord Narayan. You see all the devotees, when in the time of distress or in the time of happiness, their focus is only on Krishna, only on Rama. So when we have this single pointed attention towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he will protect us. How should we do that? It is there. We have to connect to Lord Rama. Sambandha Jnana. We have to first establish our relationship with Rama. So how does we establish our relationship? As earlier we said, Srotravyam. First is hearing. Hearing about Ramachandra's pastimes. Kirtitavyam. Sing and speak about him. glorify him. That's why Prabhupada says we should all eat. We should all share this information, share the glories of Lord Rama, Lord Krishna to all the people. We have to sing and speak. Meditate on what meditation? Not meditation on something, on light, sound, etc. Meditation on him in the form of Krishna. Morning we had that the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, congregational chanting. This is the duty of everyone in this yuga. Entire goal of Srimad Bhagavatam is to make us chant the holy names. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nasteva, 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 katinanita. In this age of Kali, there is no other way, and no other way, and no other way except to chant the mantra. So which mantra? So in Kali Santana Upanishad, it is said the soul is covered by 16 layers. It is covered by 16 layers. 5 senses, 5 sense knowledge acquiring senses, and on the mind. These are primary coverings of the soul. So each layer is removed by the Shodasha mantra of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna is 16 syllables, and each syllables will remove the one coverings. And ultimately, that pure soul. So this is the power of Dheyaha. So whenever our mind goes here and there, we have to bring it back. Amarendra Prabhuji says, so when we are chanting, if we are remembering something else, where our attachment lies. That is the place of our attachment. There is no other things, no need to sit down and note where it is. Just when you are chanting, where the mind goes, that is the place of attachment, and we have to give solution there. So and immediately bring our mind back to the holy name. Next is puja, worship, the deity worship, the Mangalarati we are doing, all the festivals we are conducting. So this is the 4 ways we connect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we bring that Lord Ram into our life, the entire miseries of this material world goes away. Arjanam bhava bejanam, arjanam sukha sampadam, tarjanam yamadhutanam, rama rameti garjanam. The Rama Raksha Stotra says, the power of the Lord Rama. Arjanam bhava bejanam. This is Bhavasagaram. Bhava. So we have Bhava Bija is it. Bhava means the material desires. We all have material desires. So when what happens when we hear the names of the Lord Ram? Arjanam Bhava Bijan. Arjanam means fry. So when you fry the seed, it doesn't come into a sapling. It doesn't become a tree. So the seed of our material desires gets burnt away. Arjanam Sukha Sampadam. Arjanam, you are getting Sukha Sampada. What is Sukha and Sampada? When Bhava Bijas are gone, when the material existence is gone, so what is Sukha Sampada? Sukha Sampada is the Vaikuntha. Sampada means the highest Sampada, the love of Krishna. So the Krishna Prema. So when we do that, we'll get the Prema for Krishna, Prema for the Lord. Arjanam Yamadutam. Arjanam, run away. Yamadutas will run away. They cannot stay. They will not stay. We can see the story of Ajamil. So in that case, Yamadharmaraj speaks to Yamadutas who are fit to be taken to Naraka. The one who doesn't hear about Rama, one who doesn't glorify Vishnu, one who doesn't bow his head to Vishnu, one who doesn't do anything of this, he is the candidate to be brought into the hells. One who does all these things, Raman, one who chants the Rama name, one who hears the pastimes, one who glorifies that, Yamadutas doesn't touch them. The people are under the jurisdiction of Krishna. The entire accounts goes into the hands of Krishna. Krishna personally takes care. But if we do not do all these things, the material nature, the Yamadharmaraj takes care of all our records. He gives the Papa Punya, results of all the things. So we have to connect to the Lord Ram. That's why it says Rama Rakshasotram is Charitam Raghunagasya Shatakoti Pravishtaram Ekekam Aksharam Pumsam Mahapatakanashram. The story of Lord Rama is written in 100 crore words. 100 crore words. And each and every letter of it is capable of destroying even the greatest sins of mankind. Each and every word. I heard one time back, I heard from Her Grace Nitya Sevani Mataji. She says, Rama, the full word Rama is not even sufficient. Not sufficient. It is more than enough. The word Ra is itself delivers us. When we speak, say Ra, the entire scenes goes out of our mouth. Why we should say Ma? So that no new sins enter. But Ra is enough to destroy all our sins. So the word Rama is sufficient to destroy entire sins of the mankind. So we should connect to Lord Rama. So Rama means there can in Shastra says there can be Sitaram, Parashuram. It can be even Balaram. Srila Jiva Goswami says Rama means Radha Krishna. How can be Radha Krishna? So he says Rakara Srimati Radha. Ra means Srimati Radha. Makara means Madhusudana. He is the destroyer of Madhu. So entire he is the killer of Madhu. He is called Madhusudana. So when they combine together, Dvayo Vigraha Samyoga, when they two combine together, Rama iti kila. So Rama means Radha and Krishna. So fortunately, in this age of Kali Yuga, the incarnation of Radha and Krishna together came in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when we follow the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we get connected to Rama and Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So the author of the Ramayana is none other than Valmiki Muni. So Ramayana starts with the glorification of Valmiki. Pujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Maduraksharam Arohya Kavitam Sakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam. So here Valmiki is described as the Kokila. So Kokila and crow, cuckoo and crow looks like the same. But when the crow starts singing, it is painful to the ear. But when cuckoo starts singing, it's very pleasant. So Valmiki is the cuckoo because he is always singing sweetly the Ramana, Rama, 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 Rama. When that is the glorification of Valmiki. Valmiki Muni Simhasya Kavitam Vanacharina Shrunavan Ramakada Nadam Onayati Param Gadim. Who in this world will not attain salvation? Who happened to hear the story of Lord Rama, composed by the lion among the poets? Valmiki is considered the lion. So when lion starts roaring, all the animals starts running away. When we start glorifying Rama, Rama iti Garjanam. When we garja, when we roar like a lion, name of Lord Rama, the entire lust, anger, greed, all those things get runs away from this our heart. So who doesn't get salvation when we hear that Lord Rama? Ya piban Rama Charitamrita Sagaram Arutastram Munim Mande Pachetasa Makalamasam. I salute the respondent says who never got satisfied, but forever drank the Rama. Should drink the Rama, Pibate Ramana. So even Bhagavatam is also the Nigama Kalpataru. That is the desire tree. What you should do? We should not read Bhagavatam. We should drink Bhagavatam. We should drink the holy names. We should drink the Ramanam. So that is what we should do. We should not read it. We should assimilate it. So when such a thing was happening, Valmiki was so confused about to whom he was going to write. Before he composed Ramayana, he was completely bewildered. Then the great says, Narada visits the ashram of Valmiki. Just like he visits the Vyasa ashrama, just like he visits Dhruva Maharaj, he visited his disciple Valmiki. So when Narada came to his ashram, how did Valmiki receive? He received by a flower garland. So he gave flower garland, he offered an elevated seat, and he offered a water. So from this we should understand, we should learn that whenever a great devotee, whenever a great sannyasi comes to our home, we should first garland him, offer him an elevated seat, and at least give some water to drink. This is what we should do. This is the Vaishnava etiquettes. So Valmiki received Narada in such a way. He served Narada. Tadvidi Pranipadena, Pariprashnena Sevaya, Upadekshantite Jnana, Jnaninas Tattvadarshina. So he submissively inquired, he rendered service and he submissively inquired to Narada on whom should he compose the poem. Who is such a character? He asked about 16 characters. So these are the what characters. So who is such a person having such and such characteristics? He was inquiring. Then what happened? The Tattvadarshi Narada has imparted the knowledge. So you should write about Rama. So he meditated on this instruction. Narada instructed to write about Rama. So when a person pleases his guru, he acquires the nature of the guru. That is what Guru Prakasheti Dhiman. So how did Valmiki become glorified? He wholeheartedly tried to please Narada's instruction, his guru. So whenever we are serving, we should try to see that our Guru Maharaj is pleased. When the Guru Maharaj is pleased, person who pleases his guru acquires the qualities of his guru. There are so many gurus in our society. So many names. If we take shelter of him and try to please him, we get the empowerment for our Guru Maharaj. That's a gaining the shelter of Guru is much and more important. That is Valmiki's life is an example that if the direction of the mind changes, the condition of the life. When we change our mind towards the lotus feet of Lord Narayan, our entire life changes. This is what we have to learn from Valmiki. So, after that, he wanted to compose on God Ram, but how he should compose? So he was bathing in Amasa River when he saw the two crowncha birds meeting each other. When at that time, when he was seeing the pleasure of these two birds, he was taking pleasure, and one arrow of a hunter hit the male crowncha bird. Immediately, the male crowncha bird fell down, and it left his body. And the female was unhappy, was crying. Seeing that, he got angry and he spoke this word: Ma nishada pratishtatam tvam agama sasatam sama yat krauncham itunad ekam avadi kama mohitam. So in this world, we get the pleasure. Every person is taking the pleasure from ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha. Mahabharata says, Maitunam. Maitunam is the greatest pleasure in this material world. These two crowncha birds are taking pleasure in this Maitunam. At that time, this Dishada means the hunter has hit this male crowncha and was suffering of this female bird. Seeing this, Valmiki got angry and says this. But after that, Brahma visits his ashrama when Valmiki was distressed. Why I spoke this verse? What is behind this? He was unhappy. So Brahma came there and he says, it is all because of me. I have done this. You are just an instrument. You are not cause of this curse. Valmiki here the intention. Nishada means the residence, also means the residence. So what Ma means Mother Lakshmi. Ma Nishada means residence of Lord Lakshmi, of Goddess Lakshmi. So what is the residence of Lakshmi? Is Narayan. So Ma Nishada means the Narayan, oh residence of the goddess of fortune. The remaining words of the first line means, may you attain glory for unlimited. So this Ramayana, this Mahabharata, this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they gets unlimited years of glory for all the time to come. Rauncha Mithana, look at Rakshasa, Ravana and his mate Mandodari. Here the two Rauncha birds means Ravana and Mandodari. So Ravana kidnaps, overcome by lust, Kama Mohita. So Ravana, overcome by lust, kidnaps Sita, Avidhi, he is killed. So this entire verse gives the story of Rama, so Ramayana and the meter of Ramayana. In this meter, Valmiki composed entire Ramayana. So this is the inner meanings of this verse. The inner meaning of each and every verse comes only by the Param Bhagavata. And there is a Param Bhagavata, Mahabhagavata, we'll get understanding of each and every meaning. That's why we should do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So, in this Valmiki ashram, there were two children born, Lava and Kusha. We all know how Lava Kusha has glorified Ramakatha. Even Lord Rama, the first person to hear about Ramayana is the Lord Rama himself. Even Rama was completely mesmerized by hearing from the words of Lava and Kusha. This is what is explained in 10, 10 and 38. Henceforward, may all your words describe your pastimes. May our ears engage in reception, oral reception of our glories. May our hands, legs, and other senses engage in actions pleasing to you. Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. And may our minds always think of your lotus feet. May our heads offer our obeisances to everything within this world, because all things are also your forms, which you see in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter. So this is what is explained. The two children, they glorified Lord Brahma in such a nectarian way. So after that, so Dasharatha Maharaj has performed Putra Kameshti Yajna. The Sanskrit says, so we take the word Putra means the son in English, but son in English, in Sanskrit, son means there are so many things. Atmaja is also a son. Atmaja means a son who is very dear to the heart. The one who is very dear to the father's heart, he is called the Atmaja. But a son who can deliver his Pitrus, the forefathers, from a Naraka called Put. There is a Naraka called Put. The son is so spiritually advanced that by his spiritual advancement, he can deliver his Pitrus from the Pitruloka, Putloka. That son is called Putra. Putra is not just a son. He is a spiritually advanced son. For that kind of a son, Dasharatha Maharaj has done Putra Kameshti Yajna. He desired such a Putra. So, as we know, we have heard that Rishi Shringa comes to to Dasharatha, and he performs Putra Kameshti Yajna. So we all know that from the sacrificial fire, a Vishnu form has comes. So he gives a nectar and he asks to divide it among the principal queens. We know how Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra gets the nectar portions. So in the due course of time, they hold Lord Narayan. So Lord Narayan and his expansions, direct expansion, Shankha, Chakra, and Sheshanag. they all the four take the shelter of wounds of Kaikeyi and Kaushali. So whenever this Mahapurusha enters, whenever Krishna enters, we see how Vasudeva and Devaki, but they were effulgent. So suddenly from nowhere the effulgence comes. Like that, similarly, Kaushalya also gets the effulgence. All three principal queens gets the effulgence. When the Mahapurusha enters, there are signs of all those things. Devotees gets happy. Even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, all the people had chanted the holy names. When Rama appeared, all the people had chanted the holy names. So devotees get happiness. Demons will be terrified. So we should understand all the descriptions of the Supreme Personality, of how he comes, what are his nature, what are his ornaments, are given in the Shastras. Valmiki has given the appearance of Lord Rama in Rama Rahasya Upanishad and Rama Tapani Upanishad. The ornaments he has given in that Upanishads. But in nowadays, people, they themselves call I am the God. The God has come on this planet Earth to reduce the burden of the earth. What burden are we removing? We are creating extra 60 to 80 kilos of burden extra, nothing else. But we claim to be God. This Rama comes to reduce the burden of God, the burden of the Mother Earth. Krishna comes to deliver the pious and eliminate the miscreants. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chaduskruta dharma samsthapanataya sambhavami yuge. I come to deliver the pious and to re-establish the deen. So in essence, you will remove the burden of this material world. But when we face the problems in our life, what we'll do? Many of us will go to the horoscope, astrological. What are my planetary positions? What are my grahas? Is it auspicious or inauspicious? Even if all the stars, these, etc., are inauspicious, when the Lord decides to come in this material world, everything becomes auspicious. Whenever Lord Krishna comes into this world, everything becomes auspicious. So whenever we remember Krishna, whenever we remember Ram, it becomes auspicious. Why? We seek mercy. Krishna is merciful. Rama is merciful. Mercy means anugraha. This anu plus graha. Anu means favorable. So anugraha means favorable planets. The entire horoscope changes. What horoscope we will see, what palmistry will see. When we chant the holy names, everything is changed by Lord Ram. Everything becomes auspicious. In Vrindavan, there are three Mahaprabhus. One is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Other Mahaprabhus, there are two other Mahaprabhus. The names I forgot. One of these Mahaprabhu says, even my astrology contains every auspicious things. Every planet is in the auspicious house. If there is no Ram, if there is no Krishna, what is the use of this life? This life may be good, but I will take birth again. It may be inauspicious. But in the contrary, if my whole astrology horoscope is filled with entire inauspiciousness, let there be inauspiciousness. But if there is Lord Ram, everything becomes auspiciousness. This is the closer of my life here, and I'm going to go back to Godhead. So one life of inauspiciousness which has Ram and delivers us into Vaikunta is the best thing. So what horoscope we are going to see? So in Kali Yuga, Krishna comes. Kali Yuge Nama Rupe Krishna. It is said Kali Kali Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. Nama Rupe. Krishna comes in the form of the holy names. Descends in the Kali Yuga in the form of his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam 9:10. So we should take the shelter of these holy names. So Lord Rama appeared in the month of Vasanta or Chaitra Mas. So Vasanta is called Madhu and Chaitra Mas is also called Madhav. Fortunately today is Madhusudana Mas. Madhusudana again. So Madhu and Madhava. Madhu means the nectar. Madhava means Krishna. So devotees are like the bumblebees. So these bees, they go to flower and flower and take the essence of the bee. There's the nectar. But fly goes and sits on a dung, on the abominable things. There is a beautiful flowers around, the fly cannot take this association. It goes right into the garbage. So devotees are like the bumblebees who wants to take the nectar from the lotus feet of Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna. So Krishna knows it. So this is a month where devotees are like bumblebees are seeking the nectar, and I decide to appear so that they can derive pleasure from my lotus feet. So that's why Rama has chosen this month of Madhu Madhav. And he chose the Shukla Paksha. So why did he choose Shukla Paksha? Shukla is waxing. So moon gets increasing. Day by day, it gets increasing and increasing. So people, there are so many devotees who come newly into this Krishna consciousness. So we are bewildered what to do and what not to do. So we have to grow in our spirituality. So Rama appears in the Shukla Paksha so that we can grow in our spirituality. So this is why Rama chose Shukla Paksha to give the increasing mercy. And he chose the Navami Tithi. Among all the Tithis, there are so many Tithis. Among all the Tithis, Navami Tithi is called Maryada Tithi. So this best Tithi on the chart and is called Maryada Tithi. So Rama comes. So before being a devotee is a top class. So before being a devotee, we should become a good human being with a good human values. There cannot be a good devotee who is having a bad human values. Bad human values, good devotee is impossible. It's not possible. He is not called a devotee. But before being a devotee, we are leading an animalistic life. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunam. So before becoming a devotee, we should become a good human beings. So Maryada means we should do certain rules and regulations, which should not be compromised at any cost. The Ekadasi, fasting on Ekadasi, we should not skip it. So there are so many things in our rules and regulations scriptures gives. We should all follow that without failing, so that we can become a good human being first. That's why before Krishna comes, Rama comes, and he gives the ideal lifestyle of human values, which should not be compromised. Whatever Rama showed, it is uncompromisable. We should all do that. A good devotee without a good human values. That is the power of Maryada. He is called Maryada Purushottam. That's why he chose the Maryada month. And Muhurta. Muhurta is very important. So even in devotional circles, people tend to think that, oh, I have become a Krishna conscious person. I'm standing 16 rounds. I'm above all the Shastras. Yes, scripture says so. But still, we have to follow the rules and regulations of the Vedas. We have to follow the rules and regulations so that we can set an example to all other people. Prabhupada used to follow the muhurtas. There are so many sannyasis who also see the muhurtas. We should all give importance to muhurta. Muhurta means 48 minutes in a day. There are 30 muhurtas, 48 minutes of each. So what is this power of muhurta? We know that Jatayu is very old, 60,000 years old, a vulture, an animal, fighting against the young mighty Ravana. He has all the weapons. He has the Vimana. He is young, and Jatayu is old. What did Jatayu do? What, so when Ravana was kidnapping Sita, it was Vindhya Muhurta. This Vindhya Muhurta. So anything done in this Muhurta gets success. It doesn't fail. So when Ravana is successful in kidnapping Sita in this Muhurta, Sita will not return back. It is successful because of the power of Muhurta. But the next Muhurta is Punarvasu Muhurta. So in that Muhurta, whatever one gives away comes back again. So when do charities, we'll get back again. So when do good, we'll get good back again. Punarvasu has that benefit. So Jatayu delayed kidnapping of Sita from India to Punarvasu, so that when Sita goes away, he comes back again. In this consciousness, he fought with Ravana for 48 minutes and he fall down. What happened? Rama did Antima Samskar to Jatayu a bird, which even his father Dasarath could not get. He did not perform the last rituals. Just he submerged his ashes into the river. But Jatayu got the fortunate association of Ram and he got Antima Samskar on the hands of Lord Rama and Lakshmana. So Muhurta has such an importance. So when Jatayu could get 48 minutes of pure devotional service, when we do pure devotional service daily for 2 hours, what is the destination of such a devotee? So we should give our quality time for the 2 hours of chanting. So similarly, Rama has chosen the Abhijit Muhurta. Abhijit means victorious. So victorious. It can be victorious to the others or it can be victorious to the personal. Either I am victorious or the other is victorious. But by the appearance of Lord Ram, everyone, Rama has become victorious and associates of Rama, Vanaras, Kim Purushas, all those become victorious. So that's why Rama has chosen the Murta of Abhijit. So as soon as Lord Rama has appeared, so all they are placed into different cradles. Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, Shatrugna, all placed in the different cradles. Immediately they started crying. Everyone was crying. So in this world, there is mismatch. So we take birth in the assumption of becoming happy. Everyone want to become happy. We take birth thinking that we will be happy, but right after birth, what happens? If you don't cry, people around us, our parents, the doctor gives us pinch and make us cry. You should cry in this material world. For everything we have to cry in this material world. We take birth crying, we die crying. But we want to become happy quickly. It's impossible. Rama, all these 4 were signifying that even God, when he appears, he takes this time as to show the suffering. This material world is full of suffering. So what happened when they sing crying, they try to make them happy, but nobody was stopping crying. So what happened? All the 3 were brought into the cradle of Lord Ram. So they were placed one by one. So immediately they started laughing. They were happy. So the beautiful smiles came up among all the 4. So we should understand that when we are connected to Lord Ram, we will get that happiness. Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna, all got happiness. They all smiled when they got association of their master, Lord Ram. We should all seek the shelter of Lord Ram. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 356, Kamstri Damstra Hato Mlecha. There is a verse. So, what happened? Even a Mlecha who is being killed by the tusk of a boar and who cries in distress again and again. That upon that person, the Muslim, seeing the boar, is cried, Haram, Haram. But our merciful Lord took it as Hey Ram, and the Vishnudutas has come and delivered him. Such is the glory of this potency of Ram. We, in the Samudra Manthan, when wish came out, poison means wish. So, supreme devotee Shiva took the wish. But how did he sustain it? So, when he was taking wish, Shiva always chants the glories of Ram, Ram, Ram. He sings Ram, Ram. So, Ram is coming out, wish is going in. When the two interacted, it became Vishram. The wish plus Ram becomes Vishram. So there are so many poisons coming from outside, from relatives, from bosses, etc. So many things. So many wish is entering our heart. When we chant the Ram, it becomes Vishram. Otherwise, the poison kills us. So Mother Parvati asks, what name are you chanting? Shiva says, I am chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. But when Parvati chanted the Vishnu Sahasranam for the entire 30 to 40 minutes, she did not get pleasure. She asked again, Shiva, now you tell me, Adidev, tell me, what are you chanting? Why are you getting happiness? I'm not getting it. Whatever you are doing in 30 minutes, I am doing it in 3 seconds. How is it possible? The entire Vishnu Sahasranam, Sahasraname Tattulyam, Sri Rama Nama. So I am chanting the names of Lord Ram, which is equivalent to chanting the Sahasranam. I am getting happiness. When Mother Parvati chanted the holy names of Lord Ram, she was happy. She started in ecstasy. Seeing her ecstasy, Shiva became ecstatic, was happy. Then he gave her the half. Inside, her body, in his body, he gave half of his body. That is Ardhanarish. In movies, they show because Ganga entered, Mother Parvati became envious, so she demanded Shiva and she took the position of half body of Shiva. This is entirely bogus. So she chanted Lord Ram and he gave the part of her this body. So when we chant the Lord's name, Rama's name, Shiva and Parvati gets happy. They become dear to them. Shiva, if you want to please Shiva, you have to chant the names of Lord Ram. That is the potency of Lord Ram. Shiva was chanting Ram name, Parvati was chanting Rama, Ganesha was chanting the Rama name, the entire family was chanting the Rama name. It became Kailash. So if an entire family is chanting the Rama's name, it becomes the Kailash, it becomes Vaikuntha. That is the power of Lord Ram. So, what are we going to get from Lakshmana? Is chanting the holy names is all in all? Yes, chanting is good. Chanting is the highest. But to chant, Prabhupada said, chant and be happy. But when I chant, I won't be happy. Today again, I have to chant. We are not have ruchi for chanting. But how can we get the ruchi for chanting? We can get when we hear the stories of Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugna. So what is Lakshmana mean? Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampanno. He is the possessor of Lakshmi. So what Lakshmi he is having? So when the marriage of Rama happened, when the broke, Rama broke the bow, and he got married. Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrugna also got married. So when Rama is struggling, when Rama has done all the activity, Lakshmana has also got the benefit. Is it bhakti? There is something else which Lakshmana is doing. So Lakshmana, when Kaikeyi asked Rama to go to the forest, Lakshmana also accompanied. He forgot, he did not sleep for the entire 14 years. He served Sita and Rama in various ways. So what happened? So when Mother Sita asked Rama about the deer, Rama goes for the to get the deer, and the Marichi shouts, "Ha Ram, ha, hey Ram, hey Ram." So Sita was afraid, and she says, "Lakshmana, go and see about Rama." Lakshmana refuses because it is an instruction of Ram. So Sita insults Lakshmana in the guise of, "You wanted to enjoy me. You had a wrong eye on me." So Lakshmana was insulted by Sita. So he could not bear, and he goes to see a condition of Rama. When he goes to Rama, what did Rama say? "You fool, you are fit for nothing. I have given you an instruction to protect Sita, and you are failure in that. So what kind of a person are you?" Rama insults Lakshmana for not protecting Sita. There are so many instances like that. Had we been there, had I been there, I would have come back to Ayodhya again. I would, enough is enough. Enough of serving. I'm not getting recognition. I'm not being recognized by devotees. I'm not getting recognized by Krishna. Enough. I will go back. I will go back to my enjoyments. But Lakshmana continued. At the end of the Ramayana, who became the hero? Hanuman became the hero, not Lakshman. Hanuman became the hero, but Lakshmana did not protest. So that is Lakshmana. Amanina Manadena. One should be Amanina Manadena. That is what we should learn from Bharata. Rajya Bharam Bharanti iti Bharata. So he has to suffer. So after everything, after Rama has gone into the forest, each and every person in Ayodhya urged Bharata, "It is because of you only our Lord dear Ram has gone to forest." Dasharatha was not even, Dasharatha's body was not even touched by Bharata. He was not allowed to touch. Vasishtha Muni also cursed Bharata. It is because of you and your mother. The only person who knows is Dasharatha, who is not there. Nobody else knows what happened. Only Dasharatha knows, and he is not there. Entire Ayodhya was criticizing Bharata. So what did Bharata do? He went in the Padukas and brought back the Ayodhya and placed the Padukas on the Simhasana. He was bearing the separation of Lord Rama. He was bearing the burden of the entire criticism. That is what Bharata is all about. Haror api sahishnana. The devotees of the Lord, so many devotees, the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, and his grand disciples are all this like this Bharata, who are trying to serve the lotus feet of Lord Ram. This Bharata. So where the place where there is no Ram, where there is no Rama Katha, when there is no Rama Nama, even if it is a place of Ayodhya, it is not fit for a place. Even Ayodhya is not fit for a place when there is no Ram. So that's why Bharata goes out and he digs some layer below so that he can sleep under the lotus feet of Lord Ram. He left Ayodhya. So where there is no Ramakatha and devotees, Ayodhya is also waste for that, is not important for the devotee. This is what Bharata. That is what Srila Prabhupada says. Why did he go to the entire West? Leaving the Vrindavan. We all want to go to settle in Vrindavan. But Srila Prabhupada has left Vrindavan for all of us. That is Bharata. When we serve that Bharata, when we serve the devotees like Bharata, we can be successful. That is shown in the example of. So Bharata represents Taror api Sahishnana. So Shatrugna means one who destroys his enemies. So how many enemies did Shatrugna destroy? Only one, Navanashana. How can he be called a Shatrugna if he only killed only one enemy? So many people have killed so many enemies, but they are not called Shatrugna. This person is called Shatrugna. Why? Because he has destroyed his enemy of false ego. So we should also destroy our enemy of false ego. How? Satrughna served a devotee of Lord Ram, Bharata. He did not serve Rama directly. He served the devotee of Lord Ram, God Bharata, and he destroyed the false ego. We are all servants and servants and servants and servants of ego. Dasa, dasa, das, dasanudasa. We should aspire for that servant. That is Rinadapi Sunichena. So we should all wait downtrodden like a grass. We should be lower than humble like a grass. This is the first step in the Bhakti. Rinadapi Sunichena. We should find a Shiksha Guru like Bharata. So we all know the glories of, we took the Shiksha of His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. You know, what is the glory of Shiksha of His Grace Lilananda Prabhu? We should all take shelter of such and such devotees. When we take the shelter of such and such devotees, we can become Satrughnas, Ninadapi Sunichana. We can destroy our false ego. Independently, we cannot do it. We have to take shelter of the Guru. Indirectly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Sishtastakam, Ninadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnana, Amanena Manadena, Kirtanya Sada Hari. We should bring Ram by chanting the holy names of Lord Ram. But to chant the names of the Lord Ram, we should imbibe the characteristics of Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna in the form of Trinadati Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnana, Amalnena Man. These are the key principles of progressing in Bhakti. So we will see the characteristics of Jambavan, the leader. There are so many leaders in ISKCON. There are so many. What are the leadership qualities? Leader knows the way, where to go, how to go. He goes the way and he shows the way. He empowers his followers. Just like our Guru Pampara, just like Srila Prabhupada and his disciple, and so many Shiksha Gurus, they are empowering each and every one of us. They know how to go. It's not that they cannot do that. They can do the entire service of Krishna, but they are empowering each and every one of us to serve Krishna. This is the quality shown by Jambavan. And the goal is more important than who gets the credit, then progress is happening. Goal is to samsiddhir haritoshna. When the glorification of Krishna is happening by some other devotees, we should not envy. We should help them. We should help all the senior devotees in their glorification of Lord Sri. So ultimately, without Hanuman, there is no completeness of Lord Ramayana. So there are two Sundaras. So when Sita and Rama are united, it is called Sundara. Rama unites with Sita, it is called Sundara. So Vishwamitra Muni united Rama and Sita in the marriage, and he is called Sundara. Another name of Hanuman is called Sundara because he made Sita and Rama unite. The entire Kanda became Sundara Kanda. So as we know, Hanuman has swollen the entire planet, the entire sun. So sun represents the knowledge. That's knowledge. One should assimilate the knowledge. Having mere knowledge of Shastras is not sufficient. We should assimilate it. We should make use of this knowledge. Just by hearing is not sufficient. We should apply it in our practical life. That is what Hanuman's consumption of following of sun means. We should all consume, we should all assimilate the Shastras. So what happened? So when Hanuman follows the entire sun, it became dark. So the darkness means, so Hanuman was at 5-year-old at that time. Kaumaram, Prahlad says Kaumaram and Acharit. So everyone should learn Shastras right from the 5 years. But when the child takes Bhagavad Gita at the age of 5, people around, especially the grandparents, parents, all the relatives, think that hey, sannyasi Panjaya, hearing Bhagavad Gita, he becomes a sannyasi. My child becomes a sannyasi. This is the situation of our elders right now. When we touch Bhagavad Gita, they think that we become sannyasi. The entire, it is as if that entire vision and becomes blurred for them. Then it becomes entire darkness for them. So when we read Bhagavad Gita, when child reads Bhagavad Gita, entire entire world for the parents, grandparents become darkened. They think that this person should be shown some TV serials, some movies. So that is what we should understand from this episode. So what happened? All the sages, they cursed Hanuman so that he forgets his powers. What happened? Immediately, Hanuman became the naughtiest person. He used to pull the beard of the sadhus. He used to break the sticks. What all the things he has done? He has become a naughty. So when the child is not given scriptural knowledge at the childhood, he or she becomes the naughty person. You see, so many kids are naughty. Why? Because they are not given the scriptural instruction. So when the scriptures are given, when the shastras are given from the age of 5, the naughtiness reduces. This is a lesson for all the parents. We should give Ramakada, Krishna Kada to our children. Otherwise, child becomes naughty. So just like we have seen in all these 3 cases. So Menaka, Surasa, Shimhaka. So Menaka refers to our grandparents or relatives who wants, there are sentiments related to our family. Whenever we are offered luxuries like Menaka, we should respect. We should respect our elder sentiment. We should respect our parents' sentiment, and we should move on. We should not forget the goal, like Hanuman. Our goal is to satisfy Lord Ram. We should respect our elders, though they are non-devotees. We should respect their sentiments, and we should move on. Just like in the case of Surasa, there are so many show bottles. Our devotional life is checked by so many situations. In the way of the relatives, the way of boss, whatever thing. So our devotional service should not stop in the event of disasters. We should be humble at that time and stay focused. With one pointed attention, we should do our services. And there are so many persons like Shimhika who are envious, seeing our progress, seeing the devotees' progress, seeing the person's progress. There are so many people who are envious. Owner's pride, neighbor's envy. This is the nature of this world. So there are so many people like this Shimhika who are envious. All respect that person, but fear their envy. We should try to remove their envious, like somehow or the other, giving this Ramakatha, Hanuman Katha. So in so far, when when Ramakatha goes in, envy goes out. But hate the sin, not the sinner. It is said, hate the envy, not the envious person. That is what we should learn from. And after that, by the names of the Lord Ram, by the names of Lord Krishna, we can cross this material ocean simply. Just like Vanaras cross to Lanka, we can cross the entire material ocean by taking the holy names of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So after that, of crossing, what happens? We have Ravana inside all of us. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Matsya, Madhya, all those things. The Rama Bana, Rama arrow. So our chanting should be like this Rama arrow. So as we know, Rama name and Rama arrow is non-different. When we chant the holy names, Rama's arrows in the form of birds goes in, destroys the Ravana inside. All these vices get destroyed, and we can reach, we can establish the entire Patabhishek, entire Lord Rama, entire entourage in our heart. Mana Mama Mandire. We can establish the Mandira by the chanting of the holy name. I request Padmavati Mataji to recite this Mangalam. We all follow her in this recitation.
Mangalam.
Please, everyone, join in this Mangalam. If you know Telugu, you can read it or you can make a chorus of what we are singing. Hare Krishna Mataji, please go ahead. Mangalam.
Hare Krishna. Vaya Hara Mangala Dasarara Jaya Jaya Mangala Sitaram Mangala Karaya Bhaskalaram Sankata Sukha Vibodoyaram Ananda Mudavashakaram Amrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Ram Ragupati
Raghava Radharam
Patita
Pavana
Sitaram
Sitaram
Sitaram Jaya
Sitaram
Sitaram
Jaya Lakshmana Hanuman. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. So, with this, I would like to open this forum for questions, any realizations, any questions.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful explanation of Lord Shri Ram. Looks like Ram Navami is never ending for all of us. It's continuing week after week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the opportunity. The entire platform was established by you and other devotees. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Platform is established by Srila Prabhupada and we are all using it. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
Hare Krishna Satyadev.
ప్రభుజీ ముందు వేరే ఎవరన్నా అడగండి ప్రభుజీ. ప్రతిసారి నేనే స్టార్ట్ చేస్తే బాగుండదు.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Okay. So Prabhuji, I always had this question. See, when it comes to Bhagavatam, we always glorify Vyasdev. Like we all know that Vyasdev is the literary incarnation of Vishnu or Krishna, and there are so many places that glorifies Vyasdev for his the whatever he has given, Vedas and all the Puranas and particularly Bhagavatam. But when it comes to Ramayana, why did Lord has chosen Valmiki? And there is no, I mean, at least I did not hear anything past about Valmiki. Like, why did he was chosen specifically to write Ramayanam? That's such a great, kavya about Lord Ram. And why not, Vasishtha Mahamani was there, Kulaguru, and why not, so many great sages are there at that time. And living all the, he just chosen a hunter. Valmiki was just a hunter. At least what we read from the in our education from the previous, whatever, we only know that Valmiki was a hunter. And then one day Narada came and then he just pronounced Nam mantra in his ear, and then he started meditating on Ram. So was there any, I mean, at least in your whatever learning so far, for this, have you heard anything about why did Valmiki was chosen to write Ramayana?
I have just a small knowledge about it. Maybe others can elaborate it. So, as you said, Valmiki was the Ratnakar before. So, Ratnakar and Narada got interaction, fortunate interaction. So, Narada advises Ratnakar not to do this, just like he did to Mrighari. So, he instructed Ratnakar to not to follow this path, killing animals. So, though he was killing animals, he was sincere at heart. So, just by association of the devotees gets purified. The person gets purified. So, because of his sincerity, his humble attitude towards saintly persons like Narada, so he could understand what is wrong in this, what should I do. He got his entire picture. So then he asked, what should I do forward? He inquired from him. Okay. Valmiki inquired. So Narada said, you have to chant the names of Lord Ram. So he had to chant the names. So I do not know anything except Mar. My whole life I was killing, I'm doing Mar. So Narada, so devotees are like that. Acharyas are like that. So they, from our situation, they can empower us, empower these devotees. So you chant Mar. So he was chanting Mar, and it became Ram. Because he was chanting Ram, Narada chosen Valmiki to write about Lord Ram. It is up to the Lord's decision to choose whom he wants. So Valmiki was a devotee, sincere devotee practitioner, especially that verse 434. So we should inquire submissively from our Guru. Guru gives instruction. When we follow the Guru's instruction, it is glorified. So Guru has given, Narada has given instruction to follow, write about Ramayana, and he is written Ramayana. So this is one thing I as of now I know. I would request Lilananda Prabhu or Praveen Prabhuji to add, or any other devotees to add some points which I might have missed. Hare Krishna, Satya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Just want to add a little bit. I also heard the same lectures you heard. I didn't hear much about why Valmiki is chosen, but one thing I want to tell you, Satya Prabhu, is that, you know, if you see the number of shlokas, the whole Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses, which includes all 10 avatars. And Rama, unfortunately, is just two chapters. And that too, it is written that why it is that, because we already heard so much of him. And just the Ramayana of Ram Katha is written in 100 crore verses, Prabhu. You know, if you hear, if you remember what Santosh Aditya Prabhuji, the original Ramayana came from the divinity of the per planet. The total story is of 100 crores. And then it came up to like 27,000 verses in the Valmiki Ramayana when Valmiki rewrote it at the end. So you can see the number of verses, the difference, like the Ram Nama and then Ram Katha is so sweet, so melodious, so transcendental that just Rama's Katha is given that much importance. And probably, you know, Valmiki might have a past history that even I don't know. Why Lord might have chosen Valmiki to write Ramayana to glorify him. You know, typically that's what happens, right? Lord chooses a particular rishi or muni or a personality and gives the opportunity for him to write the katha just to glorify him, and then give the due credit to him. That's what I think.
Prior to that, this incident, Valmiki was already chanting Rama's name. That's like Pujantam, he says. He's chanting like a cuckoo. His voice is very sweet. This Rama is pleasure. So pleasure and sweetness should be added. And then it is relishable. I think that might be the reason why Valmiki was. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, just I was like thinking, maybe is there a, you know, in the past, in the past life, did Valmiki has done something, you know, maybe is he some great soul or something? That's what I thought. Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much,
But
Prabhuji.
more than the past, maybe past life is also more than the past life. It is the association of pure devotees.
Correct.
Sadhu Sangha, Lavamata, Sadhu Sangha. So when we take the association of pure devotees, we cannot imagine what happens. We become the instrument. We can become an instrument in the hands of Krishna by becoming instrument in the group of Guru Maharaj. So many wonders can be happening. We can see so many people in this form, like Rajesh Prabhu. He has become an instrument in the hands of his holy Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and so many disciples. So many. There are so many unimaginable things. Only thing is we have to associate with the pure devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Any other suggestions? Any improvements which I need to make?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just want to add one thing.
Yes.
You did a wonderful job of consolidating the entire 900 minutes of lectures, Prabhuji, from Amarendra Prabhu. And I suggest everybody to listen to those 5 lectures by Amarendra Prabhu, and he is a blessed soul anyways. And the way how he recites the shlokas, the way he stitches Ram Katha with Krishna Katha, and the differences between Rama and Krishna are like not differences, like, it just correlates those two, and so beautifully explains. And I would strongly recommend everyone who has time to listen. And anyway, Shravanam is the first and foremost important thing that was prescribed for all of us. And please do listen to that. We can post that link in these groups. Maybe Santosh Aditya Prabhu can post it. And it's wonderful lectures by Amarendra Prabhu. And so one thing I want to tell you, Santosh Aditya Prabhu, is you did excellent job consolidating the entire 900 minutes into this. It's like, already nectarian mango juice, and you made us drink a small portion of that, which gives us the same kind of potency.
Please forgive me for not giving the entire juice. If at all I have given a juice, I have kept the entire juice by myself. Please forgive me with that.
No, Prabhu, it's very wonderful.
I would request Rajmana Prabhuji he could kindly share about his realizations. So he is attending regularly in our sections and following very nicely. So I would request Rajmana Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
మొత్తము రామాయణాన్ని అంతా కూడా మీరు 2 ముహూర్తాల్లో చెప్పేశారు. గంటన్నర సమయంలో, అంటే 2 ముహూర్తాలు అవుతుంది మీరు చెప్పినట్టుగా. చాలా అద్భుతంగా ఉంది. కానీ ఏంటంటే ముఖ్యంగా మనము మీ ద్వారా ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ ఏ ఎపిటైజర్ దెన్ ఏ ఫుల్ ఫ్లెడ్జ్డ్ మీల్. సో మేబీ భవిష్యత్తులో మీరు మరింత విపులంగా ప్రస్తుతము మీరు పాత్రల యొక్క గుణాలని, వాటి యొక్క ఔచిత్యాన్ని మీరు విపులీకరించారు. దీంట్లో నేను ఒక నవ్యత కూడా చూశాను. నేను ఒక వేరే న్యూ పెర్స్పెక్టివ్ అండ్ వెరీ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ పెర్స్పెక్టివ్ కూడా చూశాను. ఈ రామకథ ఎన్నిసార్లు విన్నా కూడా అది తనివి తీరని కథ. అందుకనే మనం ఆ శ్లోకం చదువుతూ ఉంటాము. ఆపదామ అపహర్తారం దాతారం సర్వసంపద లోకాభిరామం శ్రీరామం భూయో భూయో నమామ్య. ఎన్నిసార్లు మనము అలా స్మరించినా కూడా మనకి శక్తి పెరుగుతూనే ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, మీరు చక్కని బిగినింగ్ చేశారు దీనికి. ఓకే, భవిష్యత్తులో మీరు దీన్ని పూర్తి వివరాలతో కూడా మీరు అందజేయగలుగుతారని ఆశిస్తున్నాను. హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
Any other? Abhishek Prabhu, Ramareddy Prabhuji, Parisija Mataji, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Excellent class as usual. మీ క్లాస్ లో ఈవేళ విన్నది ఏంటంటే, అందరి క్యారెక్టర్స్ గురించి ఇందాక ఆయన చెప్పినట్టు చక్కటి విషయాలన్నీ చెప్పారు. శత్రుఘ్నుడి గురించి చెప్పిన వివరణ చాలా బాగుందండి, నాకైతే చాలా నచ్చింది.
You all should hear that class by His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. It's amazing. Five lectures. I'll try to post in the groups. Please try to hear. There's so much nectar inside that 900 minutes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. చాలా బాగుందండి క్లాస్ అయితే, ఎక్సలెంట్. మహాలింగం అయ్యర్ గారిది, మీది నేను చాలా చూస్తూ ఉంటే చిన్నపిల్లలు అయినా కానీ మీరు చాలా బాగా చెప్తున్నారు. లీలానంద్ ప్రభుజీకి చాలా కృతజ్ఞతలు, మమ్మల్ని ఇందులో గచ్చిబౌలి సత్సంగ్లో చేరనిచ్చినందుకు. హరే కృష్ణ.
మీ అందరు పెద్దవాళ్ళ తాలూకు ఆశీర్వాదం మాకు ఉండాలి. మీ అందరూ ఆదరాభిమానాలు ఇవన్నీ ఉంటే, that's the only thing which is making us. Otherwise there is nothing. All of your prayers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for that.
So we'll end the session, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji Mataji, for joining the class, a Mangalarti in the morning and the class, and a wonderful session by Santosh Aditya Prabhu, both and the Arti, the whole family so nicely attended and showed us their deities and did the Mangalarti and the class. As usual, Santosh Aditya Prabhu prepared so well and give us the gist of so many beautiful things. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। भागवत प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.